Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sydney Foxx, and I'm with the City Ecosystems Project. And before I officially start my presentation, I would love it if everyone could just close their eyes for a second and think back to the first childhood memory that comes to your head, like something really memorable to you. And then you can open your eyes if you like close them. And anybody can raise your hand. How many of you, your memory was outside? And how many of your memories were in nature? Yeah. And that's what my project is about. So I'm working in collaboration with Blue Sky Fund, which is an organization based in Richmond, which takes kids from the urban or the city areas and takes them to the surrounding areas that are more rural, like state parks and farms, like near the city. And so my conservation challenge is that Blue Sky Fund doesn't really have a way of um, assessing how the youth is getting sorry, doesn't have a way of assessing how the youth is being affected by their program. So that's what we're working on. My research question is what methods we can use to assess how this connection to nature is changing over the course of this program. So my objectives are to record and analyze children's experiences with the outdoors using video, audio, and photography, summarize from literature's methods used to measure connection to nature, design evaluation methods to align with the Blue Sky Fund's goals, and to test and evaluate methods to assess effectiveness and clarity for our chosen demographic. So the first thing we did was conduct a literature review, which is actually ongoing, which is going to be used to choose which methods we're using with the kids and how to actually assess those methods. Because in these kind of programs, the assessments are like drawing, photography, those kind of things. So they're more open to interpretation. They can be harder to understand, etc. So that was a literature review. We didn't analyze children's experiences. I assisted on a couple of the trips, the Blue Sky Fund field trips. I wore a GoPro and we walked around with the kids and did their activities with them. And so we used those observations to further cater the assessment methods to the kids. We designed the assessments using the literature review. So we chose, like, this is an example of an assessment that we designed based on the literature review, and we implemented it when we visited the first site. So this actually, we had them write a memory from each of their field trips to see like what stuck out to them, what they observed, what they enjoyed during the trip. We're going to evaluate more so in the future. It's an ongoing project. And then we're going to communicate our results, which is what we're doing now. And we're also going to present at future conferences. So one of our main key findings was that art, as in like drawing and photography, is really important. Here are some examples of drawings that the kids did with some of their journals, which Blue Sky Fund makes for their field trips. So the previous drawing prompt was draw a picture of your environment, which, like, what does that mean for an elementary schooler? Are they like, do they understand the prompt? Because at this point, like, they're learning about the environment, so they don't really know what it is yet. So that was the original prompt. So we changed it actually to draw a picture of yourself in the outdoors to hopefully make it more clear what we mean by that. And so hopefully it unlocks a memory for them and we can further understand their connection to nature through their memories. One of our other findings was that interview techniques and survey assessments are really important. This was the original survey they had on the back of the drawing, which has 3 questions and 3 scales, which is not that all encompassing of the experience that they're having. And it doesn't give us a lot of detail on how they're feeling about it. So we expanded it to 10 questions and there's 5 like numbers on the scale now to further, give us more detail and help us understand what they're actually thinking about. And yeah, the things we noticed, there's very little research into children of color in urban areas, relationship with nature, especially in US cities. And there's no consistent definition of nature for urban populations and connection to nature. So some of the key findings, as I mentioned before, we improved the previous drawing prompts. We also piloted a photography and video recording program where I gave them digital recorders and disposable cameras, and they had them walk around and record things that they found interesting. and take pictures of things. Those are going to be analyzed. The recordings are being analyzed currently, and the photos need to be developed because they're disposable cameras. But those are ongoing to be analyzed soon. The journal setup was also improved because of our observations, and the scale was adapted to further encompass how they actually felt on the trips. So key takeaways. There's also this research should provide a concentration of methods of evaluating children's perceptions, add a non-deficit perspective to the environmental education field, address the gap in knowledge between minoritized populations, urbanization, and environmental education, and build knowledge on how important nature is for development. There's still in progress, as I mentioned earlier, analyzing the video and audio again, and supporting the qualitative coding that we're doing, and developing the photos and reanalyzing the videos, and hopefully following up with students to see if they can caption their photos, to see like really what interested them in their photos. So some people I'd like to acknowledge, Blue Sky Fund and Josh Bearman, who is the program director, Dr. Kathryn Lanouette, who works with the School of Education as my faculty mentor, Fairfield Court Elementary School, Henry Marsh Elementary School, and Ms. Johnson's third grade class, which we worked very closely with, and Camille Andrews, who is a library researcher here and who helped me structure my literature review. Thank you.
Josh Bearman is listening in. He's a black box on the Zoom because he's currently on a trip with young kids in Richmond doing awesome things. So hello, Josh. We just wanted to highlight the contributions of the work of Sydney. In particular, Black and Brown children living in cities have vibrant, multifaceted connections to the worlds in which they live, learn, and play. Yet environmental ed programming and the research field of environmental education often overlooks, ignores, or paints deficit understandings of children's relationships in cities. Blue Sky Fund is an amazing program that currently runs programming for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders in Richmond City, an Explorers program where 1,800 kids a year go out into city spaces and have amazing experiences. Sydney has joined the project and really helped Blue Sky Fund think about what are kids learning? We know powerful experiences are happening, but what are they learning? How are they learning? And I would say this is a broader question in the research field. Again, overlooked, marginalized area of research. So we're really excited. And lastly, we just both wanted to say, from strapping on a GoPro and jumping into a full day with 3rd graders outdoors, also to piloting research methods, really novel, that Sydney is really piloting and innovating on. Sydney has demonstrated flexibility, creativity, and a keen intellect that has guided our project. So Josh and I are super grateful, and we're excited to keep learning. So thank you.